Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster daily trade recaps and daily teachings. Hope everybody's doing good. Just before we start, quick disclaimer, anything we discuss is just for educational purpose only. Nothing is a financial advice. All right guys, crazy day in the market, crazy day. I mean, there was so much volatility, so much news. I mean, we had a lot of breaking news plays in the community because we have the fastest news. So there was a lot of news from Trump. Trump kept tweeting, kept mentioning a lot of things today. So it was an insane day in the community. So a lot to recap. Before we start, let's do a quick introduction. Introduction to anybody who's new to our X accounts, new to our YouTube, or new to our community. So we trade a repeatable system that thousands of traders trade across the world to trade consistently. I've been teaching this system for over 8-9 years on X, on ripstereducation.com, free system that I've been teaching for years. Thousands of traders have changed their life using these teachings. It's not only just the cloud system, it also includes a lot of my teachings on the price action, the charting, the technicals, the psychology. So anyways, in our community, Tanner Trade Group, which is one of the largest live trading educational community online, we trade our system. What is a system? System is how you trade. What is a setup? Setup is what you trade. So how do you find these setups? To find these setups, we do a pre-market planning. The traders in the community, they make a plan. They make a plan in the pre-market, and I do a live game plan, going through the news sources and also going through, there's a news plays, there's market plays, there's upgrades and downgrades, and I often make anything which is worth paying more attention, I often highlight it as a red. So we had a couple of losers today, but we did have some solid movers from our game plan, so we will discuss all that. So we'll take a look at all those as well. So we also trade something called day 2 day 3 strategy. Intel was a pretty big win for us from the day 2 day 3 strategy. Number 2 day 2 day 3 and PLTR as well. Top day 2 long there as well. I did a free webinar on this on X, so you can learn about this setup as well. Day 2 day 3 strategy. We also trade futures. We provide the future levels to the traders in the community. We trade SPY, QQQ, all those levels are provided to the traders in the community. We trade crypto stocks. Whenever the Bitcoin is running, we trade those. We trade low floors, we trade IPOs. We have all the tools in community. We have 3 option flow scanner, stock scanner, breaking news alerts. We have order flow. We have stock scanners, audio squawk alerts, support resistance, cloud alerts. A lot of tools worth $500-$600 which are freely available to the traders to utilize in the community. So that being said, let's start with the today's recap. And yes, I'm usually on the voice on live screen. I'm usually on voice first few hours of the market open, guiding the traders to the trades. So I will show you my timestamp guidance. Cannot show you what I was talking, but and then I have a live screen on all day long, helping the traders. And we have a trading floor where thousands of traders are sharing their ideas all day long. So let's see how everybody in the community did today. So let's start with the QQQ today. So QQQ this morning, we were long on QQQs at trend candle. So this is a trend candle. Let's take a look at QQQs here. So we were long at this trend candle at 940 when we saw that it's pushing over this one. Let's see what was the plan on there. So the plan on SPY QQQ was watch the banks, especially watch the banks, watch the Mag 7, watch the semiconductors. So banks have to be strong for SPY to run, semiconductors have to be strong, Mag 7 have strong to QQQ to run. We got to watch our 10 AM moves, and we also need to see QQQ hold. So I have a full plan which we follow. Of course, we are watching VIX at 15. We only long the market if VIX stays under 15. So let's see what happened in the market. So initially when we long the QQQs, we got to start our longs into 10 AM. We did push from like 623.50. We pushed towards 625. Not a huge move. But once we saw the topping here, we took the profits on that, the move on QQQs. Same for SPY. SPY was weak. We'll talk about the banks in a minute. So SPY was weak, and SPY, because the banks were heavy, SPY also pushed to 10 AM. So and we had to get out. We took our profits there on that 10 AM trend. So we did not get any big move. We got our morning 10 AM longs. Now QQQ held. The trend. SPY did not. So I told the traders that QQQ held the trend, and you can long it. I gave them the stop of 624. So the traders kind of longed this when you see the Nvidia news hit. So there's so much news today. So there was also this Nvidia news. So when the Nvidia news hit, it dropped down, but then right away swiped back up. Nvidia swiped back up, and it took the market all the way up on the Ripster 512 clouds. So nothing crazy there in the morning trades, but we did see a lot of other news headlines. Ripster clouds broke here and tried to bounce, broke here, broke here. So those were the short head setups that the traders did today there. But you see there was a lot of choppiness in the first 1 hour and before the trend started. So let's see here. Let's take a look at the banks, right? So what was happening with the banks? All right, so let's take a look at the banks. So all the banks were on our watch list today. So let's take a look here on the banks. Let's LMT, not LMT, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America. So all of those banks today were just selling off all day. What was the plan on them? Let's go back. So the plan on the banks was profit target is on JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. We had a plan. We will only trade long if the clouds hold. So the plan was given the pre-market, no go under 3450. We don't just look for the longs when there's an upgrade. We will also short it. So let's take a look. What was the guidance here? So the guidance on that was a short. You see 942, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs short, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft still short, all the way lows. And you see that JP Morgan right away. Let's look at the game plan here on the JP Morgan. If SPY strong, call over 512, but SPY was not strong, the banks were not strong, so it was a short. So let's look at the next one here. So let's take a look here on the next one, which is Goldman Sachs. No go under Monday highs. Morgan Stanley no go under 3450. So if you look at Goldman Sachs, it did not give us a long here, so it became a short right away, and it actually traded all day and took the market down. And let's look at Morgan Stanley, no long under this level yesterday closing price, and it was a short all day. So you see that the traders in the community were all day short on these banks, and especially because when you see that SPY was heavy. So when SPY is heavy, the banks are, of course, they work hand in hand. So they were short as well, all day short. So those were the banks. So we also shorted something else. We shorted IWM today. That was one of our good trades. Let's take a look on IWM trade here. So IWM was a big winner for us. Let's look at the game plan. The plan on IWM was big move yesterday. Today over pre-market highs, we'll look for a push to all-time highs. Only over pre-market highs. And what happened? We rejected the pre-market highs. You see this? When I saw this candle right away, it was a short for me. And I told on the voice it was short. When I saw that it's rejecting 3450, again gave the short to the traders, stops at 256. With those 250 stops, my targets were 254.30 and 254. We hit both our targets for a beautiful short from here. Nice 100% on the puts, and nice almost $3 there, $2 there on the short on IWM. So IWM was a short. Remember, when it ran too much yesterday, there's always the opportunity next day. Now that opportunity can be long if it pushes over the yesterday's high or pre-market highs. If it breaks under that yesterday's closing price and clouds, then we look for the short, we buy the puts, and we make money that way. So timestamp guidance here, pre-market planning, beautiful trade here, IWM. All right, so next one we're going to look at CrowdStrike. So let's see here, CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike was also a long. Uber was also a long for us, but it did not give us too much. But let's look at the CrowdStrike initially here. So CrowdStrike, it was an upgrade. Remember, we had initially talked about the upgrade from the Bank of America. Even though it's an upgrade, it provides volume. It can either be a short or long. Usually, if it's a solid upgrade, and we are looking for longs, if the cloud system is also saying long. So that's what CrowdStrike did. CrowdStrike had an overweight rating from Cantor, tier 2 analyst, not a tier 1 analyst. They also called it their top pick for 2026. So that was a huge news. So the setup I gave in the pre-market was 1 hour MTF long versus 459. 1 hour MTF long versus 459. So right away it was a long. You're supposed to enter right away because your stops are right there under that. If you're entering right here, then you can keep a tighter stops, but initial stops right there at 459 on CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike was an MTF long, and then it made a flag here. We held into the 10 a.m. did not break our clouds. I told the trader it's a flag. Watch the breakout. What happened next? flag breakout, and there we go. So then we got then we got another flag. So I told the traders, watch the flag. So we are not cutting. So I'm giving the targets. I gave the target of 482 starting from this 468 long, 466 long, and we hit our 482 target. No hindsight, I gave the target earlier, and also step-by-step guidance to the traders. You need to know these flags. When the stock pulls to the 512, holds a certain level like this, it's going to break out. You can always add into your position if you want to trade the flag breakouts. So you see there was a flag, and there was a flag breakout, and then it pushed to our next target of 482 that I gave. Then we moved our stops under 482, and from there it kept on running to 486, and we closed it when it broke 512. Beautiful winner for us. Even if you got the pullback at 469, you risk $5, you got $15. So it's 1 2 3 trade, multiple 100% trade on there as well. So pre-market planning, the news plan, the guidance, and live trade here on CrowdStrike. Beautiful winner for us. All right, let's talk about the next one we're going to talk about is Uber. So Uber was similarly on our plan today, this morning. Jeffrey said buy it on the weakness, tier 3 analyst. The plan was if it holds the previous day high, look for the push. So it held that the previous day high. It did push for us from the MTF, from the longs. It was not an MTF long, actually. It was 50 50 50 MTF right here. It did push us for us at 10 a.m. But then it had already completed its ATR. Its ATR is 238. So when that was happened, I warned the traders that it's already pulled its ATR. So be careful on that, and that's why we just stop out, got out break even on that Uber trade. Let's look at the next one here. So next one we're going to talk about is Lily. So let's see what was the plan on Lily. Lily was our day 2 setup. Lily was on our day 2 setup. The plan was to long over yesterday highs, breakout over 1070. So we mentioned the breakout over 1070, and right away Lily broke out, and Lily started to run, and it was a long there, and I gave the target of 1100, and once it broke 1100, even pushed to 1177. It's still a breakout for tomorrow watch on Lily, but definitely it's been a good one. Remember, there was a news on Lily the other day, and it ran yesterday, and today it was on our watch because it reclaimed the MTF cloud. So that's why it was a day 2 setup. So next one we're going to look at is INTC. Let's take a look at Intel. So what was the plan on Intel? Intel was our day 2 setup again. Intel was our number 2 day 2 setup, top day 2 setup. The plan was to long over yesterday highs, breakout over 40.31. Amazing plan in the pre-market on Intel. Let's take a look here. So Intel was a guidance on the floor. A lot of traders were on top of Intel today. Just from the start of the day, everybody was on top of Intel. Let's take a look here. Vijay was on top of it. Michael, M Trades alerted the long. He took the amateur move. PJ, Clint, everybody was there. So if you see the plan, and I gave the targets of 43, and then I gave the target of 43.60 and 44. Both my targets met, and the longs initially were with the stops of 40.50. The longs were right here at 41. M took it at 40.57. So beautiful trade here. And once we broke out of that level, just as per the pre-market guidance, just traders held it as I was giving the live guidance on the targets. So Intel was good. I had some late news in the morning, but it was really good play for us today as well. Intel. Let's look at the next one here. Next one we're going to look at is a PLTR. So PLTR was MTF breakout today for us. MTF, right? It was similar to Uber, but PLTR of course has a big ATR, so it can always run. So PLTR, was our play today. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so the plan on PLTR was the long over 50-55 MTF cloud. So you see this is a 50-50 MTF clouds, and that was the plan to the long. Initially when it pulled back, I told the traders to stop out, but then I sent another price alert when it was curling back over that level of 180 right on this level. It was pushing higher and over the MTF clouds. That's why I sent an alert on PLTR for the calls. And from there, this was another MTF breakout. You just had to hold it, hold it, hold it, and exit when it finally broke the 512s. That was the PLTR exit on the 512 breakdown. Really good, good guidance by RGV. RGV had a $180 entry and he took it all the way to 186. Beautiful top day to set up. That's why I put it at the top play. So many plays today in the community. Let's go to the next one. Let's talk about some of the losers today. Netflix was our loser. We tried to long this MTF cloud. Since I showed you that market was weak, Netflix didn't really have a news. So it doesn't have a news, so it will not have enough volume to sustain on its own. So we took a long there at 91.50, but as soon as it flushed under 91, we stopped out, right? You see that the risk was 91. This was our risk right here. We stopped out. So you see, once we stop out, then you know how much money we saved. It flushed to $90, so we saved a $1. So we lost 60 cents on there, but that's fine. But again, the reason we always want to know why it was a loser, it was a definitely MTF cloud setup. If the market was strong, if there was a news, it could have worked for us. So let's look at the next one here. Next one we're going to look at is Tesla. So good thing about Tesla is that Tesla has a personality. For last few days, Tesla gave us an amazing shorts. One short, and it was it gave let's look at Tesla here. So it gave us a short on the first start of the year. Then it gave us a long the second trading day. Then it gave us a short yesterday. I think I made a short. I don't know to see, but it was a short, MTF cloud short. But today, you know, it was choppy. You see these candles. So initially I told the traders do not long it, because when I saw this candle, I did tell them you can long it when it was pushing over the clouds, but again it rejected, so we stopped out. I said I'm not going to touch it for rest of the day because it's going to be choppy. So the key with Tesla is when it runs, and when you need to identify the choppiness, this was choppiness. You could go to the 30-minute chart as well, so that would give you a little bit more clarity on how weak it is. You could see that it was just choppy, up down, up down, up down. So there was no trade. The key is to also identify when there's a no trade in a certain setup, so you stay away from those setups. All right, so next one we're going to look at is FSLR. FSLR was on our game plan. It was an MTF cloud short. Let's take a look at the game plan here. FSLR, I also highlighted it as red, cut to hold. So basically they downgraded it. If holds 255, look for calls. Cautious if 258 is not reclaimed. So right away it dumped. So right away it was a short, right? It was not a long, right away. So I told the trader it's still a short. I updated them at 949, and even from that update it continued to fade it faded another $7 all day long to 240. So all you had to do was you short right here in the first candle, your stops right here at 255, 256, and then you take it all the way down with the short setup. So read carefully if you're in a community, always read the pre-market plan carefully. This is support level. Once this breaks, it's confirmed bearish. It stays under that, it's confirmed no trend to the long side. So that was our FSLR all day short bearish moves. So MBLY, that was on our game plan. Let's take a look. MBLY, right, I highlighted it as a red play, long over 14.25, no go under 13. So once it breaks 13, it's a no-go. But even before that, you could short it. That's why I said at the open when I saw this candle, I said it's a gap and crap. So you see this is a big gap right here. From here to here, it can fill the gap. You buy the put, you short. Let's say you short 1,000 shares. You're risking a couple $100. You're making $1,500 on the short. The target is always the gap fill when you are doing these shorts on MBLY. On the gap and craps, you're looking for this gap fill short. So that was a beautiful trade. MBLY, easy gap and crap, and the gap fill targets met. You can see my guidance even in the pre-market, we talked about it, and it was a beautiful gap and crap all day long. MBLY. So ASTS, before it dumped in the morning, it was just a choppy. It was the mature candle was bearish, but it gave a curl right here. Right here, that's where I sent the price alert on the 91 area where it was curling. So traders took that long for 295, and once it broke the 512, 34.50, you exit, or maybe you can short it. That was insane volatility. I mean, it flushed to what, almost $7-8. So that was ASTS Rocket Lab, always on our watch list. We watch it every day because of this range, this volatility. We can really have some good solid trades on these names. You can see this is where I sent the alert on the calls, and this is what the traders traded right up to the 95 area. So today we have a lot of breaking news here. I mean, I will cover a few of those. We can talk about LMT. So we have our the fastest news bot in the community. We have the fastest news quacks in the community, which gives us those news alerts pretty fast. Right, so as soon as the Trump mentioned that news on LMT that he is gonna let's take a look here on that news here. That was around 210. Let's see here, find it. So this was a Trump tweet right at 210. They are doing massive buybacks. They are doing massive shareholder dividends. So the point is, he said he's going to stop the dividends, right? That's a big news for the stocks. So right there, we saw the news breaking 34.50. You see this bounce. You short it here, put the stops at 34.50. I think Pawn got a great entry on LMT. The whole room was pretty short. Pawn had like a 519 entry, and he took it 500. Frying Pan, he alerted the short there as well. He was targeting 500. I think I was working out, so I missed the news, but the traders literally killed it. And you can use the Ripster clouds to trade the news. When you're shorting it, if the clouds is bearish, you can short it, and you always short the pop after the initial news, and your risk stops are over the 34.50 clouds or whatever the closest clouds are, and you take it all the way down. That was LMT. Then there was NOC, and you see the same thing, 512 breaks, 34 MTF break, all of them. Now another news came later after hours, and that one also the traders caught it. So another news that caught was on the that he's going to increase the defense budget. It's crazy, right? Crazy day. So you can, after hours, you can take this same stocks long, right when you hear the news, 500 cycle your level, pull back, you know, you make 10 15 points on that, the push back up. So that was a beautiful move there on LMT, both up and down. So you just have to stay on the top of the news alerts whenever you do that. There was more news today. I mean, the other one news was this stock, another biotech stock. There was a lot of news today. We actually did much better trades with a lot of these news setups than any other setups. So RVMD, a news came that they are doing the buyout. It pulled back in the gap, held this level, you know, went up. You know, you can't really, I personally was not aware like what will be the buyout price, so I avoided it, but the traders traded it for this bounce scalps here. Now the another news came after hours that there's no buyout, and then it dumped. So a lot of traders were short on RVMD. Even we shorted it on the bounce, and you know, all the way back on the bounce on the 3-minute chart. That was a beautiful trade. And then another news came up that yeah, they might be in talk with somebody, and then it pushed after hours as well. So you just have to stay on the top of, guys. If the clouds and the news match, you take it long, you take it short. So just even when the Nvidia news stock came in early in the morning, and that it swiped back, it didn't really care about the news, and then it went on the chop all day long. So that's how you trade the breaking news, guys. Stay on the top of it. If you don't have these tools are free in our community. Join, and you can have these all tools free to use for you. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.